Yep, definitely going to be a fun match that we're going to see here. Let's take a closer look at our players. First up, we have Diana Bros. So Diana, this is her first regional. We actually talked to her yesterday at the end of Swiss, and then again just now after top 4. Top 2 in the 2016 regionals.
Update that slide. She won another round.
First accomplishment here in Madison, Wisconsin. She's running that double primal team with Bronzong, Thunderous, Salamence, and the Ferrothorn. Interesting team. We've seen it play in and out of Trick Room, usually at the behest of her opponent, but really playing this well, especially for a first-time player.
Yeah, I'm really impressed by her so far, and I think it's kind of cool to see that Bronzong Ferrothorn thing. We kind of seen players easing away from Bronzong in favor of Cresselia in the recent tournaments, but Xerneas has made a big comeback here compared to what we've seen in recent weeks. So having that double steel type option is really strong against Xerneas, which fortunately for Diana is exactly what she's about to play against.
All right, and our second competitor here in the finals is Sam Schweitzer. I'm excited to see Sam here in the finals because we actually started off our stream here in Madison with his game against Colin Heyer, and it's always nice to book in the stream with the player, see Sam come all the way from the beginning here to make it to the finals. He, of course, is running that Kangaskhan, Xerneas, Groudon, Zapdos, Cresselia, and Smeargle. He actually has qualified for Day 1 Worlds already with his top 8 finish. And now at the finals is looking at a championship to that, possibly putting him in striking range of getting a Day 2 invite with a good performance at Nationals.
Yeah, you never know when those extra few championship points are going to be the difference between getting that Day 2 invite or not. So, it's important for him to win this tournament. But also I think just moving forward as he approaches the National and World Championships, you feel a lot better if you have that regional championship under your belt than if you make it this far and lose.
It's nice to have had something that you won when you go on to try and win other things.
Yeah, I think it makes it just a little bit more intimidating. I think especially, winning the regional that we streamed, maybe when he goes to do his next tournament, the players playing against him are going to think a little bit, think twice about all of their moves now. It should be interesting to see which of these players can come out on top. And very fitting that we get the, Groudon Xerneas versus double primal matchup in the last match.
It's kind of what we've been seeing all tournament, which one of these cores is actually going to come out on top here in North America. And of course we have fresh new face on the scene, Diana versus Sam, who has already qualified for Worlds. So sort of if the new player can actually upstage the more seasoned competitor here as well in the finals.
I think Sam himself is also a pretty interesting storyline where, we've seen him kind of develop over the past year or two, become a much stronger player. It'll be his first World Championships if he's able to make it over. So, even though he's a little more seasoned than Diana, still definitely a player that I would say is, kind of breaking into that upper tier of players. So I'm excited to see what both these players are able to do, especially because I think, the first time they showed up on stream, even today, they were kind of a little bit shakier, and they've gotten progressively better. So really cool to see this development.
Yeah, both players have basically been on the same kind of development path as competitors. But Sam's just a little bit further along. So I believe we're just about ready to go ahead and hop into our first match of this finals. Again, best of 3 set. 2 wins to become the regional champion here in Madison. There is Sam on your screen right now. Diana will be his opponent. And as you mentioned, the double primals against the Groudon Xerneas. Double primal seems to be the new thing that's been powerful, and Groudon Xerneas sort of, in some of the matches that we saw earlier, has been sort of dated, but Sam brought it to the finals. And how did he do that? And can he match up well against this double primal?
That's kind of really interesting to me, having watched this tournament in Liverpool last week. We had a very similar situation where we had a Groudon Xerneas team make it to the finals and a double primal team make it to the finals. And I think Sam made some similar adjustments to what we saw there, where early in the tournament we saw him leading that Xerneas more frequently, having a harder time finishing it off, and he actually lost the only match he lost all tournament to start off our stream. However, we've seen more recently where he's playing a little bit more conservatively, bringing in Xerneas after his opponents kind of used up the great solutions to Xerneas he had, and then been able to get that set up and finish off the game. See, both players moving very quickly here, I guess. Probably used to the Groudon Xerneas versus double primal matchup at this point.
Yeah, you have to feel like both of these players came into this with a game plan, how they were going to play against their opponent. Always nice in the bracket stage to know who you'll be going up against. So having a little bit of time, these choices in the first moves probably been thought about pretty frequently. Diana will lead with her Salamence Groudon up against Sam's Cresselia Kangaskhan. So a very supportive lead from Sam. Not a huge amount of offensive threat there, and hiding his restricted Pokemon right now.
Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting on both sides. I mean, I think that there's a certain level where you have to figure through one of the Pokemon that's missing on both sides. I mean, on Sam's end, you've got to assume that Xerneas and Groudon are probably the hidden options here, so it's a little bit easier. Information for Diana, if it's important there, is most likely doesn't have to deal with Smeargle this game. On Diana's side, we've seen a lot of players not bring Kyogre into this matchup, so that's a fun thing for Sam to have to try to figure through. Do I need to consider this or not? We saw him coming out on top of an earlier series because that Kyogre didn't show up.
Yep, well, we are going to see Diana immediately Mega Evolving her Salamence. Kangaskhan also going to Mega Evolve there, as you know, we've joked about it before. A VGC match hasn't started until Kangaskhan Mega Evolves. Salamence will just go ahead and protect this turn, try to dodge the Fake Out. Possibly the same from Groudon. Yep, double protect on Diana's side.
Uh-oh.
Sam's
looking
happy.
a little excited here.
Sam likes that double protect. Power Up Punch onto Cresselia. We've been seeing this a lot this tournament. Power Up Punch, Kangaskhan going to get the boost. So basically free boost there for Sam's Kangaskhan. +2, Kangaskhan is a very scary Pokemon. Cresselia using the Icy Wind into both those protects though.
Yeah, only one level of increased attack for Kangaskhan because of an Intimidate, but definitely vastly improving the position on the board for Sam. You know, a lot of players kind of just tempted to double protect when you see Fake Out like that, but not always the safe play.
Yep, Power Up Punch able to punish that right now, but Double Edge coming out from Salamence dealing a lot of damage back. Kangaskhan will move before the Groudon though and get a frustration off onto Diana's Groudon. A critical hit plus the second punch, another critical hit. Double crits from that Kangaskhan will pick up the KO there, and Groudon will go down this second turn after the protects. Icy Wind from Cresselia, now full power thanks to only having Salamence on the field. Actually deals way more damage than you usually expect. And of course, dropping that speed, really big, unfortunate turn for Diana.
Yeah, that's kind of everything going wrong there. It's going to be important for Diana now just to kind of readjust. Like, okay, things happen. How do I move on from this? Bronzong going to be able to help her do it a little bit in this game, I think. Definitely with Salamence's reduced speed now. Trick Room could help her out a little bit. Still a question of whether Cresselia will be quicker or slower than Salamence, which is important to figure out here. But, you know, really tough spot. That Power Punch is going to hurt no matter what, but getting double crit, making it that much worse.
Yeah, definitely not great. A helping hand coming out from Cresselia this time. Frustration onto Bronzong. No protect coming out from Diana Salamence, though, interestingly enough. Bronzong takes a lot of damage, though, but is able to shrug it off thanks to its steel typing. Double Edge again from Salamence will pick up the KO onto Sam's Kangaskhan. Recoil damage likely going to KO Salamence itself. Not quite enough. Hanging on with 13 hit points as Bronzong sets up that Trick Room. I'll have to see if Cresselia again went for an Icy Wind or no, went for the Helping Hand originally. So no attacks left there. So Salamence still on the field with drop speed. Again, is it slower than Cresselia?
Yeah, still a good turn for Diana, though. I mean, for as badly as that second turn went, and I guess the first turn as well.
Right.
I mean, I think Sam was definitely anticipating Salamence protecting there, so Diana at least able to get that knockout on Kangaskhan and have to deal with that boosted attack any longer, as well as getting the Trick Room up. So she gets a little bit extra that turn. Now she's likely going to need to try to find a way to allow her Salamence to be knocked out here, and then hopefully her remaining Pokemon and Bronzong can put up enough of a fight to keep this game close.
Yeah, have to see what is in the back for Diana. You mentioned before she hasn't always brought both of her primal Pokemon. Seems like you might really want Kyogre right here.
Yeah, Kyogre would be nice, but you know, typically, again, we've normally seen players choosing to bring Groudon only, and likely that's going to be the remaining Pokemon.
Skill swap from Cresselia on Sam's side just in case there was a Kyogre about to switch in from the back. Also showing that Sam will be able to reset the weather if he needs to, and Kyogre comes in. Now also levitating on that Groudon. Fire Punch into the Protect, so Salamence actually, because no damage was dealt that turn, gets some free damage off, but it's still hanging out.
Yeah, it may not be that free.
Yeah.
I don't know if Diana really wanted Salamence to survive that turn. She had the option, of course, of just using Double Edge to ensure she could knock herself out with Recoil, but maybe expecting not to take that action. The damage will help in the sense that if she's able to use a Precipice Blades if her Groudon is in the back, Sam's Groudon's probably in range now, but even though resetting the weather didn't do anything, giving Groudon that Levitate ability is going to make one extra step for Diana to try to attack that Groudon now. And it's going to be tricky since her Bronzong still has Levitate, so even with skill swap, it's going to take a series of moves that will be very difficult to execute against a Groudon.
Yeah, unfortunately, after the double critical hit from the frustration, Groudon not able to save Diana this time, but Kyogre in the back may just be able to. So Kyogre now on the field, brings the rain. Possibly, if Sam went with another skill swap, may be able to nullify that entirely. But again, Diana trying to play around, making sure that she has the two Pokemon that she wants on the field in Trick Room on the field. Icy Wind will come out from Cresselia and actually finally pick up the KO onto Salamence, drive Kyogre's speed a little bit down. critical hit just for good measure. It doesn't double the speed drop, just a little bit of extra damage on there. So Bronzong will be able to come in after here, and a Fire Punch from Groudon, no damage thanks to the rain. So Bronzong here, Trick Room still up for a little bit, but not for too much longer, and those Icy Winds may become clutch once Trick Room ends.
Yeah, it's sort of interesting there, too, that even though the Icy Wind could help Sam later, definitely going to hurt him now. If there's any question about which Primal was quicker ordinarily, certainly Kyogre is going to be slower now, so quicker in the Trick Room. I think Sam, probably like me, was expecting Groudon to be that last Pokemon, but Diana not playing the way we've seen this matchup a little bit more conventionally and choosing only Kyogre. That surprise could help her here, where she's been down this entire game, but certainly Sam's going to have to be a lot more careful now than he would otherwise. Likely going to try to withdraw his Groudon here to get the advantage on both of these Pokemon, but it has been weakened already, and we do see the switch.
Yeah, Groudon actually going to switch out this turn in favor of Xerneas, so Xerneas will be in on Sam's side. A little bit risky to bring that Pokemon out and take some damage, but also has to be afraid of the skill swap from Bronzong onto Cresselia. Diana, unfortunately, was trying to predict Sam's skill swapping himself and try to get the rain up or something there, the levitate, rather. Lost track of the abilities there, so unfortunately the Desolate Land is back up on the field. So Ice Beam into Xerneas, and that's just, that's unfortunate. Groudon got to switch without even getting the... Okay, I can't even keep track of any of these abilities anymore.
Yeah, so a series of strange things happening there. Cresselia now has Fairy Aura, Xerneas has Bronzong's Levitate, and Bronzong has the Desolate Land of Sam's Groudon. So a lot to keep track of for these players, but Diana now sort of has control of the weather, though very awkward having both weather abilities on your team.
And Bronzong does go for the Gyro Ball into the Protect, as well as the Ice Beam into the Protect on Xerneas, and Thunder Wave coming out onto Kyogre, just trying to slow that Pokemon down. Add some RNG as Twisted Dimensions go back to normal, and the fast Pokemon are rightfully fast again.
Yeah, now a very interesting play on both sides, where a Helping Hand Moonblast would probably pick up Bronzong, and so Bronzong tempted to protect here, but also a lot of things it kind of needs to do for Diana. Very important for her to find a way to get Trick Room back up with Kyogre paralyzed. Very important for it to be able to use a Gyro Ball onto Xerneas, and probably needs to skill swap again as well. So just a lot of things that Bronzong needs to accomplish for Diana to win this game.
Helping Hand coming out from Cresselia. Moon Blast will connect with Bronzong. Is it going to be enough to get the KO? No! One hit point! One single hit point, but the Gyro Ball is the selection from Diana. Picks up the damage onto Xerneas. Not enough. Ice Beam, though, should be able to get the last little bit of damage on Xerneas. Is it? Yes! Does go down. So Diana does pick up the KO onto Xerneas, but Groudon coming in here. No Levitate on Diana's side for the Bronzong, or, just for good measure, because who knows what abilities anyone has, or on the Kyogre. So Groudon has free range to Precipice Blades here.
Yeah, I mean, very importantly, neither of Diana's Pokemon have Levitate any longer. They could try to borrow it perhaps from another Pokemon, but yeah, I mean, Fairy Aura also still active.
Bronzong avoids the Precipice Blades. No damage onto Bronzong, some damage onto Kyogre, though. A critical hit onto Kyogre. Icy Wind will connect, though. So Bronzong, that one hit point just not going to be enough from the mighty Cresselia's Icy Wind. But a little bit more extra damage onto Kyogre. Bronzong goes down. Kyogre will have an opportunity to make an attack here. It will be Ice Beam. Will target down that Groudon, deal some damage, but it needs the crit and does not get the crit. Not going to be enough. And provided that Sam's Pokemon can hit their attacks, Diana should be going down here, and Sam will take a lead.
Yeah, I mean, Sam probably going to want to play this smart, but I don't think he has an... I guess he'd Fire Punch it, probably?
Yeah, Helping Hand onto Groudon using the Fire Punch in the sun. Will be able to get the KO onto Kyogre there, and that's going to be Game 1. Sam takes an early lead, and moving on into Game 2.
Yeah, great game by Sam there, and really by Diana also. I mean, she had such a tough break early in that match. She did battle back to get it as close as it was. I think was really impressive,
yeah.
And something that might give Sam some pause going into Game 2 there, where you always feel really good being up 1-0 after the first game. But Diana fought back really hard, and I think maybe if I'm on Sam's side, I'm thinking, I'm against a lesser experienced player. Maybe if I get some big plays, I can knock her off her game a little bit. I don't think that happened there. I think Diana seemed very sturdy in that match. She kind of just stuck with it, and I think she'll put up a very difficult to defeat performance in Game 2 here.
Yeah, she got double crit turn 2 and still managed to claw her way back to, actually a fairly close battle there at the end.
Yeah, I kind of like Diana's matchup in general. I mean, I think maybe Sam will play things a little bit differently, anticipating that there is the option of Kyogre as the sole restricted Pokemon this time. Particularly, I mean, that Kyogre is probably a little bit more defensively trained than some of the other Kyogre he's run into. But Diana's similar, learning some interesting information, too, that might have changed this matchup compared to other teams that are similar to Sam's, with Power-Up Punch not being something we always see on Kangaskhan anymore.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be very popular when Mega Kangaskhan was first introduced in VGC 2014. It's kind of progressively gotten less popular in favor of low kick in particular since then. But Sam is one of the players who's still using that power-up punch, and it makes it much more dangerous to double protect against that fake out, as we saw before. But of course, it can also be dangerous for Sam. We saw him get burned once too when he power-up to punch his own Pokemon while neither Pokemon on the other side protected.
All right, well, Diana is going to go ahead and lead that Groudon and Salamence this time around. Kangaskhan and Smeargle, the con artist on the side for Sam, does want to change things up a little bit, switching out the Cresselia for Smeargle now. You know, if you're up a game, you probably don't mind, you know, rolling some dice, flipping some coins.
Yeah, I kind of really like this as a Game 2 matchup. I think that's a great point. I mean, you know, a lot of weird things can happen, but, you know, on Sam's side, you do have a game to give now, and I think Smeargle's another one of those Pokemon, just like it's tough to play as well as you normally would against it when you're kind of afraid that something crazy could happen at any moment. But one thing, of course, to consider is that once again we're in this situation where is Kangaskhan going to fake out, or is it going to power up punch? Because power up punching Smeargle, you know, and breaking that focus sash, not normally a great option. So it seems like it's not available to Sam, but he does have the option of switching Smeargle and doing it anyway.
Well, Smeargle is going to switch out on Sam's side into Xerneas.
Spoilers, I think it's a power up punch.
Xerneas out on the field now for Sam, using that information against Diana. Says, you know, I can't do it this time, but I do have some Pokemon in the back. Really interesting way to hide that tech there. Salamence will go ahead and Mega Evolve, and expecting, well, Kangaskhan to do the same, and then a double protect coming out from Diana here. And now you may have a situation where Kangaskhan gets the +1 boost after Intimidate, and Xerneas on the field, fairly free to set up. There's the protect coming out from Salamence. There is going to be the protect coming out from Groudon, and here is the power-up punch again onto Sam's own Xerneas. And from a really supportive lead to a very offensive, very dangerous lead in no time flat.
Really clever bait by Sam there. Kind of seeing the power of Smeargle, and that even though it didn't do anything, it forced a reaction from Diana. Really tough to make the read that she needed to there, where the right play was to double attack. But, you know,
then you
get
open yourself up to Dark Void.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, a fake out Dark Void then would probably have ended the game. Smart play by Sam. He's put himself in a great spot.
Well, Salamence will be able to get its Hyper Voice off, and Kangaskhan again, the frustration onto Groudon. Will it double crit this time? No. So a little bit less damage this time, does not get a one-hit KO, and Groudon will be able to get the Precipice Blades, connects to Xerneas, and Kangaskhan picks up a double KO with a critical hit onto Xerneas. No, Kangaskhan still hanging on with 1 hit point, but Xerneas crucially going down right there.
Yeah, kind of a bizarre situation. We kind of figured it'd be the other way around.
Yeah.
But Diana revealing she's got a speedy Groudon there.
Yeah.
Typically, we see those Xerneas move before Groudon, especially with more and more players kind of getting more defensive with their primals. But Diana's kind of got the more defensive Kyogre, the more offensive Groudon, and able to do just enough there. I mean, Kangaskhan going down would have been great, but Xerneas...
You take that.
Yeah, you take those every time. No Geomancy from Xerneas, and importantly, no attacks either. And Salamence now in a great spot where the Pokemon that was most dangerous to it is fainted. Kangaskhan still can do some damage with Sucker Punch, but a lot less of a threat than it normally is. And Groudon not very good at dealing with Salamence either.
Yep, Groudon on Diana's side will go ahead and protect itself from any danger. Kangaskhan did go for the Sucker Punch, trying to get, snipe a KO onto Diana's Groudon. Tailwind, though, from Diana will make sure that her Pokemon are faster. And a Precipice Blades again, no damage, free Tailwind. Kangaskhan still at 1 hit point on the field.
Yeah, nice Tailwind there for Diana. I'm not entirely sure how much it accomplished in the sense that, you know, I guess it depends on the final Pokemon, but certainly her Groudon probably quicker anyway.
Well, Kangaskhan is going to be able to get the Sucker Punch off this time onto Groudon. Picks up a lot of damage, enough to pick up a KO onto Groudon. So no damage coming out from Diana's Groudon here. Salamence, though, is able to fire off a Hyper Voice, pick up the KO onto Kangaskhan back, and deal a little bit of damage to Groudon. So we'll have to see what kind of damage Sam's Groudon can deal back. Stone Edge from Groudon actually connects with Salamence. Not quite enough to pick up the KO. No critical hit. It does have an increased critical hit chance, but not able to actually get the crit there, and Kyogre out for Diana.
And this time Diana using both of her restricted Pokemon, and this puts her in a great spot. As long as Sam doesn't have Wide Guard, which likely she's been able to figure out with as many times as Sam's been on stream so far. But yeah, I mean, we kind of see the advantage of a Tailwind. She kind of gives up Groudon easily anyway, but this works in her favor. Now she gets full health Kyogre out with the Tailwind. We've seen it's a little bit slower, a little bit bulkier already, so that speed advantage does matter. This will make it quicker than Groudon for the next 2 turns, and it puts Sam in a tough spot where he's probably got 2 slower Pokemon against 2 Pokemon that have powerful spread attacks.
Well, Sam is trying to hide his Groudon behind to protect, hoping that both of his Pokemon can outlast this Tailwind. Groudon and Smeargle both protecting. Smeargle with the Spiky Shield. Double Edge comes out from Salamence actually into the Spiky Shield, so does take extra damage. A Scald there from Kyogre as well, trying to just take down Smeargle. Moody gets the speed boost and special attack drop. So, Tailwind's still up, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that makes things interesting, but I mean, actually it makes things very interesting because I think part of why the Tailwind was set to begin with is because Diana probably expected her Kyogre was slower than Smeargle. So Smeargle will probably get a chance now, and Salamence importantly dealing damage to itself by using the Double Edge onto Smeargle's. This is close.
Groudon goes for a double protect, doesn't get it, but the double edge again, just trying to take out that Smeargle as much as possible into the Focus Sash. Will actually KO itself from the recoil. So Smeargle hanging on with the Focus Sash. Will it be able to get rid of Kyogre? No, because Kyogre is faster. Scald connects onto the Groudon, though. But Smeargle at 1 hit point, it's not that much of an offensive threat.
Yeah, it turns out there wasn't too much of a threat of Smeargle after all. Kyogre is faster even after the speed boost. Clearly picks up that knockout on Groudon, and Smeargle's going to have to watch Kyogre sleep for a while, but it's hard to imagine a way it's going to be able to pick up a knockout here. Looks like we're going into a decisive Game 3 to figure out who the champion of his tournament is.
Smeargle is very kind to the Kyogre, says we've gone through 2 rough battles already. Rest up. Need to be ready for our 3rd match. So Kyogre getting its beauty sleep. Bronzong now out on the field. Should be able to clean up this Smeargle because really Smeargle can't do anything to anything right now. And the forfeit.
Yes, I'm realizing this. Not going to try to see how many KOs he can get with only non-damaging attacks.
Struggle.
And yeah, would have been a struggle to win that one for sure. But great game 2 there. Excited to see Game 3. I mean, Diana bouncing back really well. It was a tough way to lose the first game where things just weren't going her way. But, she didn't let it get her down. And I think that's really tough in this game. I think a big part, especially in a critical game like this, where in the finals of a tournament, you've got a big crowd here. I mean, we can definitely hear the audience. I'm sure the players probably can too. There's a lot of pressure on you. And I think it's easy then when things don't go your way just to kind of, maybe start making some optimal plays. Or maybe like, if only that hadn't happened, I would be in a better situation. But you're going to have to look at the turn that you're in. How can I still win this series? And Diana recovers beautifully there.
Yep, Diana does recover, and we are into Game 3 in the finals of the Madison Regional Championships here. We've seen so many Game 3s, it would just be wrong if we weren't going into it. Of course, the winner of this match will be your champion here in Madison. Sam switching it up again, going with the Zapdos Kangaskhan lead, while Diana sticking to what she knows best, the Groudon Salamence lead. So again, the Intimidate onto Kangaskhan, but now Kangaskhan has a new friend, Zapdos.
Yeah, so Sam, for 2 games now, has gone with an immediate power-up punch, which kind of makes this mind game fun, where, you're both assuming there's no way he will do it for a 3rd time, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's true. Diana really does like this Groudon Salamence lead, which I think, once again, is pretty safe. Even if Sam gets another power-up punch off, there's a lot of situations where 1 increased level of attack is a lot less dangerous than 2 as far as the knockouts Kangaskhan can pick up. And she's still in a pretty good spot here where Zapdos is not going to be able to do very much against Groudon, so that's nice. And Salamence similarly not in a huge amount of first turn danger here, so probably more likely that Diana is going to try to attack than in the previous games.
Well, Sam does withdraw his Zapdos in favor of Xerneas. The player is clearly reacting. Will Diana let him get away with it a 3rd time? Salamence going to go ahead and Mega Evolve. Kangaskhan also Mega Evolving itself. Could be in a repeat for Game 2 here. Kangaskhan going ahead and Mega Evolving. Xerneas out on the field. Groudon and Mega Salamence for Diana. No protects. Tailwind from Salamence this time. Diana is not going to let Kangaskhan get a free boost off once more. Rock Slide from Groudon. Xerneas avoids it. Will connect to Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan is used to flinching all of its opponents. Does it get flinched here? No. Does go for the power-up punch, though. Is going to get the boost back, but this time, instead of a free boost, Diana set up a Tailwind and got some damage back onto Kangaskhan.
I feel like that has to be some sort of record where, like, has there ever been a recorded match where Kangaskhan has gotten 3 power-up punches in a row to start a series? One of the strangest things I've ever seen. A little bit surprised to see the Rock Slide there, but I think Diana trying to prioritize that Zapdos is probably concerned about the possibility of both sides using Tailwind there, but not to be.
All right, Hyper Voice back out again from Diana, and Fire Punch from Groudon onto the Kangaskhan. Will pick up the KO there. So it got the boost, but did not get to do anything with it this time. Xerneas, however, will be able to Geomancy, get the boost, and basically match Diana thanks to that Tailwind.
Yeah, Salamance's naturally quicker than Xerneas, though, so still sort of a tough spot. Sam Smeargle going to be very important if he has it in the back to give it a chance to attack. Otherwise, this game could already be over. Kind of really seeing the importance of picking these Pokemon, as Sam had 3 other unrestricted options, and if it's anything but Smeargle, it's just going to be tough.
Well, we have to see if Sam brought the Smeargle. Is there anything else that can protect Xerneas? Sam's taking his time. It's Groudon, so Groudon in the back. No Smeargle. Very difficult to protect Xerneas from that Salamence here. Salamance's probably pretty happy about that. Pretty used to getting blasted by the Xerneas, and instead it gets to double edge it right back here.
Yeah, I mean, that Tailwind going to make a big difference. Mega Salamence, one of the quickest Pokemon in the format, and it's a big part of why it's so popular. I'm not sure if it's quite at the point where it can knock Xerneas out, but certainly can weaken it enough where a Precipice Blaze would pick up the knockout. So Sam's got to be very careful here. He needs to get some decent value out of these restricted Pokemon, and Diana immediately going the offense.
Diana just going for Hyper Voice, dealing a little bit of damage to Xerneas and enemy Groudon. Groudon actually faster than Xerneas, connects to both Pokemon. This time, it looks like Groudon actually is going to be able to do the damage, picks up the enemy Groudon and the enemy Xerneas. A double KO for Diana's Primal Groudon.
Yeah, Diana picking up a huge 4-1
A double
lead.
restricted
Yeah,
KO.
on 2 restricted Pokemon. You don't see that all the time. Zapdos coming back in here, and it's hard to imagine a way Sam can pull this one out. Excellent play by Diana, and that quick Groudon for the second game in a row making some plays. She's got the nice mixture of the quick Groudon, the slow Kyogre, and it's allowing her to do some things that maybe other double primal teams couldn't.
Zapdos all alone on the field. Salamence goes for the Hyper Voice while Groudon protects itself this time around. Zapdos goes for the Hidden Power onto Groudon. Does not do anything, but Tailwind will peter out into the Protect. So Salamence and Groudon again onto Zapdos. Showed that Hidden Power, trying to deal some damage to Groudon here in the Sun. I have to see, can Zapdos actually come up with some way to get out of it? Double Edge onto Zapdos, deals a lot of damage. Deals a little bit back as well. Citrus Berry activates. Zapdos trying to hang on for dear life here. It's Sam's tournament life. Hidden Power again coming out from Zapdos. Will actually connect with the Groudon. Deals good damage. Super effective for a Hidden Power. Fire Punch, though, from Groudon. Connects to Zapdos in the Sun. That deals way more damage. And with a clean 4-0 win on Game 3, Diana Bros is your regional champion.
What an impressive victory. That first game was just so so ugly for her. Yeah, it was a tough game. She bounces back perfectly, plays an excellent Game 2 and Game 3, and it really shows that, even though this is maybe her first regional championship she's participating in, she's a very deserving winner, and really impressive performance. I'm impressed by your team as well, just kind of the options she gave herself. That Tailwind from Salamence was huge. Taking advantage of how quick her Groudon was very important, and I think she really identified the advantages she had over Sam's team. Like many players we've seen doing well with Xerneas recently, Sam has that slower, bulkier Xerneas, and well, in most situations that's an advantage. Not being able to outrun Diana's Groudon ended up being part of the undoing there, and she did a great job to take advantage of that and put Groudon in situations where it could win.
Yeah, very strong and very impressive play coming out from Diana in her first regional championships. Obviously, she won, so it has to be impressive. But bouncing back from that first game, that turn 1 double critical hit, that's the kind of thing that would tilt me off the face of the earth immediately, no matter when it happened. And if it happened in the finals, are you kidding me?
Yeah, she reacts perfectly to it, where it doesn't phase her. She actually gets very close to getting back into game 1 in spite of all the things that happened, and then it doesn't affect the way she plays game 2 and game 3. She has a great game plan. She learns from what did happen in game 1 and she's able to pick up, and she just plays it really well. I think, too, she just had a great strategy for the series where Sam was kind of just really zoning in on trying to get that power-up punch turn 1, but not necessarily on what that was doing for his position on the field. And even though Kangaskhan kept getting powered up, it wasn't really getting him anything after the first game.
Really good play from Sam, though, as well. Very clever play, of course. At game 2, with baiting with that Smeargle, I definitely would have fallen for that bait.
Yeah, I think so, too. I mean, we mentioned a little bit before the turn, but I think it'd be really hard, even if you were expecting it, to actually make the play to stop that.
That's one of those things where you're thinking, oh, he could do that, but
like,
why?
But committing to it is so hard. I really like that play. That could have been a tournament-winning move for Sam. I think he definitely, he's got nothing to be ashamed about. That was an excellent performance by him. Both players putting in an awesome show. I hope you guys enjoyed that match as much as we did.
Yeah, definitely a fun match to see. We'll see Sam most likely here in Nationals coming up. Already qualified for Worlds, so don't worry. If you're a fan of Sam, he'll be around. Diana, hopefully we'll see her at Nationals as well. A regional championships tends to make you think that, oh, I can actually go compete at Nationals now. I might be able to win in the entire country. If I can win my region, I can win the country.
Yeah, I mean, she wins her first regional championship, so, why not her first national championship? That's just how it works, right?
And then from there, the world championship.
Of course, yeah. Easy.
It's really just that easy. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll actually be speaking with our newly crowned regional champion, Diana Bros, so stay tuned.